3 years. That is how long I've been doing Let's Plays on YouTube. It has been quite a ride. And to say that I've grown even a little bit is even an understatement. Ever since I started uploading much more often than I ever have been for the past 3 years, back in October, it's been fantastic. And today is not going to be a very sappy video, it's not going to be an apology video, because people do that all the time, and when they do the sigh thing, it's just an apology. This is not an apology, it's just to thank everyone who's watched over the years. And everyone who's even subscribed, even to my closest friends at work who've even subscribed as well. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your support, thank you for just watching, reacting, everything. And I guess you could say this little video is going to be kind of like a retrospective on basically the last 3 years. Is just probably going to how to do it. I'm doing this a little bit impromptu. Just throw out my thoughts about how, you know, where I started, how I got to this point, and where to go from here. So let's get started. So my first video. Not very good. Not very good. It was a strange little video. It was like I was using the microphone I was using at the time was a Logitech microphone. In fact, hold on. This was the microphone that I had been using for the first five videos on the channel. Crappy Logitech headset. Wasn't overly comfortable. In fact, even just putting on for the first 2 seconds after using it, not even using it for a while, pretty crappy. But you know, you upgrade, you make things better. You know, having the HD, I'm a perfectionist by nature, and I upgraded to something a little different, which is sitting over here. A Razer Kraken USB. Now, say what you will about Razer as a company and how edgy they think their customers are, which isn't that edgy to begin with, but it was a decent microphone. It was certainly a big step up from what I had been using before. Hey guys, I'm Happy Home Gamer. Welcome to my first Let's Play. I'm okay. Didn't break anything. Ugh. Didn't like hearing anyway. Yeah, needless to say, the audio in that video was a little bit scratchy, is basically an understatement of the year. But, you know, I upgraded to the Kraken USB. It was a lot better. Yeah, and that's what I've been using, had been using for a good 7 months, before I ended up upgrading to a Neewer NW7000. I only used it for one video of a Let's Play that's no longer on the channel. I had a habit, just to say the least, I had a habit of starting things with no real path, no real planning. It's just, I was really eager to get something out that I sacrificed any sort of quality in the process. And something that's gotten much better over the years, you know, having better quality, and just not just commentary, but the picture quality, the audio quality, you know, better editing. I've gotten much better at doing edits than I ever have been. But it was scratchy, to say the least. There's not really much I can say about that. But even as my, you know, main equipment has gotten better, my complete, you know, the games I've played have gotten looking better as well, not just from an equipment aspect. When I first started doing console Let's Plays, I had been using a Hodge HD PVR60. That was a crappy piece of equipment, I'll tell you that much. The picture quality was grainy. It was very, color balance was off. And the worst part about it was a completely unreliable piece of crap. It was like half the time, not even half the time, like 90% of the time, the drivers wouldn't even work. Like you would shut down the computer one day, turn it back on, and all of a sudden, the drivers stop working. And you can't record anything because the drivers aren't working. Eventually I moved up to what's sitting down there, and I can't remove it now because it's actually connected to my computer, which I still need to do a recording later for, an HD60 from Elgato. That is a much better piece of equipment. So if you're ever doing YouTube, get one of those. Or even and what's it called? Oh, Magewell. Those Magewell capture cards that are starting to come on the market, those are actually pretty good too. I really want to get a 4K capture card so I can start recording things in 4K once I get jump on Ryzen 3rd Gen. Speaking of editing rigs, when I first started this channel, it was just, I started this channel on a slimline PC. It was one of those HP Slim. It was a Dell Inspiron 660S, It was one of those small form factors, fit this OEM PC anywhere kind of things. And it was a decent computer when it came to speed. It had a Intel Core i3 2130. I think it was a 2130. It was a desktop CPU, dual core, 4 threads, 3.40 gigahertz, included HD Graphics 3000 or whatever. I think it was 2000. But anyway, it wasn't very good. And when I first started doing Let's Plays, it was Star Trek Online. Now, this Let's Play is still going on to this day. Haven't even gone past the first story arc. Well, actually, we're starting the second story arc. So what am I saying? Anyway, I'm rambling a bit. To say the least, now on that computer, I had no really other ways of recording other than screen recording. And for those of you who don't know, that is a pretty difficult thing to do, especially with low-end hardware. See, what you're trying to do is that you're trying to get your computer to play a game. That's already taxing enough, especially if the game's super, like AAA title and requires a lot of computer resources to run to begin with. That's one problem. Now you gotta record the game, and that causes even more issues. So even if the frame rate was actually decent, it was still well below 30 in most cases, because the computer isn't even powerful enough to run the game at a decent 30 frames a second anyway. Small part. But the other issues that came up was I'm rambling at this point. I see YouTube creator progress in the same way that human advancement. So if you take Sid Civilization as an example here, and it's an accurate representation, more or less accurate, of human advancement. We all starts off in the ancient era, and we work our way from there. Seeing my early videos is like seeing me in the ancient era. Things were primitive, they weren't advanced, basic, low quality. Nothing was well built. And then eventually, when I moved up to different, better equipment, I entered the classical era. And now where I think I am, I'm probably the medieval, maybe getting close to the Renaissance era. Things have gotten better. And I still continue to intend to make things better, because, without, better quality videos, and how am I supposed to make my way through this, this site? I'm every subscriber, I'm getting ever so closer to peeking my head up top that little ocean that is YouTube. But I think we could just take a quick look back at some of my older videos, see where it's been and where I've come now. So let's just start with my first video. No, not very good. It was poor quality audio. The frame rate was 2 frames a second, and just in general wasn't very good. Now, granted, I had been using a low-end computer that I had been using as just general use for many years, and to say the least, it wasn't a very good computer is a very big understatement. But then eventually I moved up to what's sitting over here. You can't see it off screen because it's actually recording my audio right here from my Blue Yeti. That is a computer I built for the first time. It was my first built computer. It was a Ryzen-based system. It had GTX 1050. Still has the GTX 1050. And it was much better than what I had been using before. So finally, if I wanted to record Star Trek Online, I could use the graphics card instead of the CPU, which I would be using before, because OBS on this old Dell couldn't support QuickSync. Then eventually I moved up to what I'm using right now down here, my main editing rig. It's still a Ryzen-based system, but it's much better than it was, what I've been using before. And my advancement has gotten so quick, it's almost overwhelming. I was always looking to get better. Part of being someone with ADHD is that you're a perfectionist. You want things to get better, and you will do whatever it takes to make things get better. Even if that perfectionism drives you insane, even if that perfectionism makes sure that you don't, ever have anything that runs perfectly, you will still try to achieve that perfection through any means possible. And that is where I set out to go for today. So moving on to the next Let's Play I did after I started during the course of Star Trek Online, Wind Waker HD. That was the first episode of the Let's Play featured that new audio. It wasn't very good, even still. It was kind of high-pitched. It wasn't very boomy. I was using the boom mic. It wasn't very boomy to begin with. The mic that was on the headset. I don't know why they said that like that. It was using the mic on the headset, and it was a big step up. It made things sound a lot better, a lot more decent. But then, once, some other Let's Plays came out, I was still... But, I'm not going to babble on too much about it. I'm just going to kind of, conclude this little video with just saying a few things. So, when most people start YouTube, their one goal, their single single goal is to make money. All they see is dollar signs. That's all that you see in their eyes. That's all that they see. They see dollar signs because they see people like PewDiePie. They see people like Markiplier, Philip DeFranco. You know, all these people making millions off of sitting in a room and talking. Like, they think it's so easy, and they have no better vision other than making money. Now, what do I see at all? Now, what I see is not dollar signs. In fact, I could frankly care less about the money. I got other ways to make it myself. I genuinely enjoy making people happy. That is one of the single best things in the world. Just like, seeing someone crop a smile whenever I, say something funny or do something that just in general makes them happy. And that is my goal when making videos. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the sponsorships. If it makes me a few extra money to continue doing this, and I'll take it. But the main goal, the main purpose of making my videos is to make someone smile. Now, this may seem like a sappy thing to say the least, but if your goal on YouTube is to make money, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're doing it for fame, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. If you're doing it to gain notoriety, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. There's a million one people out there like you who are doing the same thing as you because all they see is dollar signs. They have no real vision. They have no real passion. I may need to rely on things like dopamine bean to get through the day. I may need to rely on things like Adderall to get through the day because that's just how my little ADHD brain works. But in the end, the main goal is to make someone happy. And if that continues to happen, then I'll continue to make it happen. So I thank you for joining me in this video, kind of a bit of a long-winded video. Probably a lot of editing. I'll probably do a bit more editing in the post about it, but thank you for joining this video. Here's to 3 more years. It's been too long. I'm so happy to keep doing it.